guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another celebrating Bowie video. We're getting through these, aren't we? It's a journey this year because, like I said, it's been 10 years since we've lost David Bowie, and I want to celebrate his life and career and my love for David Bowie over the next 12 months. So I've done some videos. I've done my top 10 favorite Bowie albums. I've done my own personal discovery journey of how I found Bowie and fell in love with him. I've done a close look at Ziggy Stardust album, and I've done a close look at the Hunky Dory album. So this video is called Bowie the Pop Years, and it's not what you think it is. We're going back to the 1970s, to his Berlin period, where he recorded albums like Low, Heroes, Lodger, and worked with people like Brian Eno, all these wonderful people, and Iggy Pop. Iggy Pop was from the band called the Stooges that were quite successful in the late 60s, early 70s, and then they split and Big Iggy Pop went his own way but wasn't being too successful. And then he befriended Bowie, and they moved in together, I believe, in Berlin, and shared a place. And Bowie went on to produce some of Iggy Pop's albums and work. And that's what we're looking at today. We're looking at this new box set I've received called Iggy Pop, The Bowie Years. So he went on to produce 2 or 3 of Iggy Pop's albums, and they were Iggy Pop's most successful works. So whatever Bowie touches turns to gold, right? And this box set is covering that career. So although this is a celebrating Bowie, this is more celebrating Bowie as a producer, because he was awesome, not just at making music but also producing it. So let's not waste time. Let's have a deep down look at this new box set, Iggy Pop, The Bowie Years. So here we are, guys. Here is the new box set that I've received, that I've ordered. Got it for a really good price, and it's called Iggy Pop, The Bowie Years, which includes the albums that David Bowie worked and produced, some albums for Iggy Pop. And so we're looking at these today. So this box set contains 7 CDs containing The Idiot, Lust for Life, TVI Live, produced by David Bowie, a bonus disc of rare versions, and 3 CDs of live material previously unavailable officially, and a 40-page booklet. So it's a nice set. We've got the albums on the back. We'll go through those individually. So let's not waste time. Let's get into the box. We'll make a slit along the cellophane. It's in a nice box. So we will remove the sticker and try and preserve that. So let me remove the cellophane, and we'll pop that down there. Let's see if I can remove the sticker while you maybe take in the cover, which contains his 2 famous albums sort of highlighted in there. So this sticker is coming off fine, so that's fine. We're going to stick it back where it was, onto the bottom corner here. So there we are. So we preserve the sticker. So let's have a look inside the set. As I say, it's a hardback book, and it lifts up like a normal box set. Really nice, cool quality, like that. It's got a nice one of these there to lift. So we've got a little booklet, which we will come to. We have another booklet, which is the main booklet, a hardback book, which we will come to, and we have the discs. So what we'll do, we'll put the box aside, and we will go through the discs first, I think, before we look at the other content. So we've got the first one here, which is The Idiot, which was the first one. They're all come in gatefold sleeves, which is really nice. The CD, they're all sort of like uniformed like that, which I quite like too. So that's The Idiot. So the track listing on The Idiot is Sister Midnight, Nightclubbing, Fun Time, Baby, China Girl, which Bowie would go on to record himself and become a hit, Dum Dum Boys, Tiny Girls, and Mass Production. That's The Idiot. Next up we have Lust for Life, probably his most famous and most sort of like successful album, I think. I'm worth $1 million in prize. So as you can see, all the discs are uniformed. Pop that in there. This contains the tracks Lust for Life, 16, Some Weird Sin, The Passenger, Tonight, Success, Turn Blue, Neighborhood Threat, and Fall in Love with Me. So that's the tracks on Lust for Life. Should we turn them the other way around? So then they're going to go back in uniform. This is TVI Live. So this is a live album. I think TVI, I'm sure that was a Stooges album. Contains the tracks TVI, Fun Time, 16, I've Got Right, Lust for Life, Dirt, Night Clubbing, and I Wanna Be Your Dog. Then we have the edits and outtake disc, which is the disc of unreleased stuff and probably single edits. Again, it's all uniformed. The tracks are Sister Midnight Mono Single Mix, Sister Midnight Single Mix, China Girl Single Mix, Dum Dum Boys Alternative Mix, Baby Alternative Mix, China Girl Alternative Mix, Tiny Girls Alternative Mix, I've Got a Right Single, Lust for Life edit, and an interview with Iggy Pop about recording The Idiot. So that's quite interesting. Then we have Live at the Rainbow Theatre London in March 1977. So this is all mid-70s period. So again, it's a uniform disc. And the concert is Raw Power, TVI, Dirt, 1969, Turn Blue, Fun Time, Gimme Danger, No Fun, Sister Midnight, I Need Somebody, Search and Destroy, I Wanna Be Your Dog, Tonight, Some Weird Sin, and China Girl. And a few nights later he was in Cleveland, and this is at the Agro Centre in Cleveland, all from the same tour in 77. Pretty much same set list, little bit alterations. So Full Power, TVI, Dirt, 1969, Turn Blue, Fun Time, Gimme Danger, No Fun, Sister Midnight, I Need Somebody, Search and Destroy, Wanna Be Your Dog, and China Girl. And the last one was a couple of nights later in Chicago at the Mantra Studio. And that's Raw Power, TVI, Dirt, Turn Blue, Fun Time, Gimme Danger, No Fun, Sister Midnight, I Need Somebody, Search and Destroy, I Wanna Be Your Dog, and China Girl. So they are all the CDs that are in the box set. So we'll place them back in the box. And we'll have a little look at the other content of the box set. First of all, let's have a little look at this little one, which I think might be a replica sort of program, like tour program possibly. Baby Sham's Girl Survival Kit. Do you remember Baby Sham? That is so cool. Advert for Baby Sham. Wow. So this must have been like a tour program or something, like a replica from it. So it tells you about, yeah, it's a tour program. So that's his lineup: Iggy Pop, Stacey Headon, Scott Thurston, Tony Sales, and I don't know what the other name is, but somebody Sales on drums. So this would have been the tour program you could have brought there, advertising the two albums there. Some pictures of Iggy. Not the best of tour programs. This would have only been a few pence, I would have thought, probably 50p to £1 most, because there's not a lot in it. Advert for the band, the adverts. So yeah, it's like a little tour program, which is quite nice. You know, it's just something little to have had in there, I suppose. It's pretty cool. And here is the hardback book, The Making of Idiot. There's a Mr. Bowie on the phone. Classic picture there of Iggy Pop. So let's just go through the making of. The normal sort of book with stories and essays and information about how it met Bowie and what went through. Obviously Idiot was the first one that they made together here. That's sounding great. Can I have 5 times more of that? Bowie had Thin Lizzy thrown out of the studio for beating up the in-house engineer. The distortion was nothing like I'd heard before. So I think this is actually by Iggy Pop, this book. Oh no, it's words by Michael Hand and photos. I thought it would have actually by Iggy Pop himself. Talking on about youth of Killing Joke, who is also a sort of, he's telling his views. These are interviews with people about the album, what it meant to them. Susie Sue and Martin Gore, Depeche Mode, Nick Rhodes of Duran Duran. They're telling how important these albums were to them and their sort of like going forward to their career. If Iggy Pop can't be raw, there's nothing wrong with the world. There's something wrong with the world. Kill the pigs. Okay. Sounds magazine, or newspaper as it was at the time, Music Press. That's a cool picture. That would have been a good album cover, or reverse of an album cover. The music doesn't get in the way, it's like a machine. And then we have a breakdown of each disc. And you can see like there's a lot of songs on here. Like Sister Midnight was written by Iggy Pop and David Bowie. China Girl was written by David Bowie. David Bowie wrote Dum Dum Boys. He wrote Baby. So a lot of the songs were actually written by David Bowie, as well as so this is almost like Bowie albums but recorded by Iggy Pop. So we have a complete breakdown of each album, and we have a breakdown of the musicians that are played on it. So David Bowie pretty much plays on every single album, guitars and keyboards and piano, so he even performs on the album. So this is why I'm doing it as a celebrating Bowie video. Then we've got the concert. Was Bowie at any of these? Yep, it was TVI 77 live. He was at the Cleveland there. He played piano. So he even performed on some of these shows with him. So that's really cool. And then we have the credits of the box set. And it's a nice little book, really cool. It's a nice little box set. So that is a closer look at Iggy Pop's box set of the Bowie years. So a nice little comprehensive box set from Iggy Pop on the work that he done with David Bowie. So as you can see in this set, it's albums that were produced by David Bowie. So he helped produce them. He actually co-wrote a lot of the songs and wrote a lot of tracks in there that were just written by Bowie. And he even performs on the albums and performs at some of the shows. So it's a very important box set for Bowie fans. So if you've not picked this up, I would pick it up for you. It's not too expensive. I can't remember what I got this for now, but I'm sure I got it under £50 for 7 CDs. So it's great to get them all in one set. So yeah, this is why we're covering this today. Like I said, because David weren't just an incredible artist, he was a producer, he was a writer, he wrote books, he wrote children's books. I'm sure he'd done some children's stories. He was an actor, you know, and he was just awesome, wasn't he? Everything. And the world is just weird without him. So this is why I wanted to cover this, also to break up. So I'm not just Bowie, but I'm still celebrating David Bowie. So I hope you've enjoyed looking at that set. Now I will be covering some more other probably Bowie albums a bit later into the year, but I also want to be covering some of the live material. I want to be doing my history of that because I went to see him 3 times, so I want to have a little try and remember what I can of those shows. I'll try and go and do a video on that, and then I will also do my top 10 favourite David Bowie live albums, which I haven't done yet. But anyway, thanks for coming in, guys. Massive shout out to my lad. See you soon.